each and everyone is trying to look better, whether it's our workplace, whether it's travel mode, whether it's just going out for an evening coffee. It's like roti, kapda, makan, beauty.
Hi, welcome to Modernizing Biz podcast. Today we have a very special guest with us, that is Rayad, who is a founder of Iconic Brand. So, hi Rayad, how are you?
Hi, Nandini. Very well. Thank you for having me here.
Yeah. So, Rayad, as we are very well known like about your brand, like it's a very special for every girl as we love doing styling and everything. So, I want to know the backstory of Iconic Brand.
Uh, so, firstly, it's not only for girls. We also
Okay.
have men's tools, and we take care of men's equally. So, yes, of course, primarily our range consists of appliances, hair appliances, which are used usually by women,
Yeah.
but we also have the male grooming side. So, iconic to its existence, actually, it goes back all the way in 2007,
Okay.
honestly. That's when when I say 2007, that's when the thought came. Of
Okay.
course, we launched it officially in 2009, but it took us about a couple of years to build up on towards what we were visualizing, and on reality what we could transform our vision into reality. Like a dream into reality concept. So that it was a time where there were brands globally entering into India, and there were existing large scale FMCG brands. There were the Unilevers, there was the PNGs of the world, and everyone. But there was the market for private label didn't actually existed. You
Okay.
know, I think we guys were one of the first few who got into a private label manufacturing of getting their own brand into a B2B segment. So, our target audience and our plan was very simple. We wanted a brand, we wanted to get a set of tools, a set of hairstyling equipments, which would assist hairdressers to complete their artistry. It was basically identifying what's the miss in the market. The market was big. We all knew Indian market was huge.
Yeah.
It was largely dominated by products coming in from Far East, and but there was everything which was quite largely spread on the platter, and nothing organized in a way that would completely satisfy a hairdresser. So that was the entire thought of getting everything together under one umbrella, and be more reliable from the customer's point of view, more trustworthy, and consistently having products which are available and not just something today or the other thing tomorrow.
Okay. So, like, since you have started the beauty industry from very long, I guess in 2009.
The brand Iconic started in 2009.
Yeah. So,
Yes.
like the scenario, the beauty industry in 2009 to now, like in how many years the changes have you have seen in the beauty industries?
Oh, I think the beauty industry earlier used to change in years, but now it changes in months, thanks to social media and the every day, we as brand owners also look into social media to understand that, what we need to prepare next. I mean, it's not only influencing, but it's also aspiring and inspiring, you
Yeah.
know. So, of course, there was a time where you didn't had so many salons, or even if you
Correct.
had salon, they were called as saloons or parlors,
Yeah,
which
parlors.
yeah, so and today we have an app where people can come home and do our grooming inside our house. So I mean, I don't know if transformation is the right word, because this currently is a 360. It's completely indifferent to what it was. to the large scale equipments and the traditional orthodox barbering shops, which were always existing at every corner of the lane with a small little piece, to a larger than life international and domestic salon chains, creating a state of an art of a place, giving a client a five-star experience with the ambience. And there's so much thought given from the customer experience point of view to the training and the education, which is now entered into India, and some serious education happening with all the artists and the hairdressers. There's some large scale brands who've taken the onus of taking charge of educating a lot of young individuals and upgrading existing hair artists also. So while in 2009 or times prior to 2009, a saloon business was known as Hajam, is now a salon business with a creative director. You know, the profile itself has changed. It's no more looked upon as a small profile job for hairdressers, as well as, like I said, thanks to the internet and social media, people are also keeping themselves very upbeat, very top notch
Yeah.
all the time, so that you might just be clicked any moment with a high definition camera, and all the flaws are visible much more than what we thought
Yeah.
as to the films we have nowadays. But yeah, that's the transformation. It's huge. It's nothing existing of 2009 in 2022.
Okay, so like since we are all aware that there are a lot of competition between these industries, so how beauty industry generate the employment?
See, when there is the only reason there can be competition is if there is demand,
Yeah,
you know because there is such a surge of demand in the market. There are more and more entrepreneurs, there are more and more corporates entering into the beauty and grooming business, whether you consider the e-commerce platforms who have multiple brands under them, or whether you consider salon business, which is I think if I have to give an example of any metros, let's say Mumbai, we might have a salon in every 500 meters of the city, which is huge. So coming from that perspective, because the demand is so high, the competition is obviously going to happen. Competition will not only make things better for the consumers, because each one will try its best to offer the best of the service and use best of the products. It will also help generate a lot of employment, because that many branches opening up, or that many requirement of the services which is now coming up, requires that kind of a skilled labor. So I think beauty industry plays a huge role in terms of deploying employment to all the classes of our citizens of the country.
okay. So like since you have touched the point of like a lot of people have catch us of the camera on the camera without the makeup, and beauty like in the beauty industries, styling and everything is very important. So how personal grooming is important for individual in their day-to-day life?
See, styling is definitely not only, I mean, styling is due to beauty industry to a certain extent, and day-to-day life, because again it again bottlenecks that, earlier with the time where people used to travel abroad and understand trends and see what's happening around, and here we know exactly what is happening in the real moment across the globe.
Yeah.
you know so we see a lot of fashion events, we see a lot of film events, we see a lot of ott platforms showing us a lot more cultures and different types of cinemas across the world. So each one actually is now getting diversified in terms of what kind of styling they need to have. It's no more restricted to an Indianized styling, it's no more restricted to a Western styling. there is styling which is being aspired and promoted, which might be a particular Vietnamese trend. It can be a particular Japanese trend. Right from your, for example, your sneaker shoes.
Yeah.
It's all over the place. And earlier with the days where we used to always think about sports shoes to be used only in sports field, but it's like it's become a fashion statement now. So it's something where everyone and each and everyone is trying to look better, whether it's our workplace, whether it's travel mode, whether it's just going out for an evening coffee. Grooming has just become such an easy byline that it's no more kind of an effort or a job. It's like roti kapda makan beauty. It's for me it's
Correct. Yeah.
people. I know people who compromise on having very high quality of food, but they will buy the best of the face washes.
Correct.
It's become that important.
Yeah. So, according to you, what are the new trends have recently come in the eye of people in beauty industry when it comes to styling and makeup, like getting ready and doing graphic makeups and all. So, what are the trends according to you have come?
Trends. So beauty industry is by itself a very large horizon if you consider yourself from top to bottom. Okay, so you start from hair. So there are trends which are coming up in hair where people do color, people do protein treatment, people do now Botox, people do anti-frizz treatments, people do keratin. So there is so much that happens only on the hair when it starts from beauty. And in fact, Iconic as a tool brand is primarily for hair.
Yeah.
So there is lots that happens on the hair on the top. So it just so it's as I said, it's how each one takes it. And what is styling is, again, there is an irony that a styling for one particular person might be called damage by another person. So it's constantly changing. When it comes to beauty, there are, as technology is changing, as people are more nowadays on Zoom calls, on their phones, and on social media. There have been treatments on facials, there have been sunblocks, there have been skincare which have come with a blue UV block, which actually protects the skin from getting damage from the digital rays other than the sun UV rays.
Yeah.
So it's been so everything that comes new. There is a particular problem that comes along with it, and then there are solutions which are available with an education of the problem that exists. So it is constantly there. There has been a lot of laser clinics nowadays which have come up, which also takes care of hair removal other than the traditional waxing. There is a lot of body spas, body grooming products. So it's constantly there. It's like I said, the trends keep changing as per each day. While there is newer and newer technology, newer and newer ingredients being identified, new recipes being made, which has better impact. So there are unlimited options available and unlimited services available when it comes to beauty services.
So since like we are talking about the trends, so I want to know like when the trends are in like there are a lot of trends which are coming and it changes by week or by month. So does the industries and the companies who are already settled by their brand names, so do they face the challenges to develop the product according to that, because the trends changes so quickly?
Absolutely. The moment you settle, you're gone. You're out of the game. You can't settle. You need to hustle all the time. Recently, I was reading an article about gold. So there are lipsticks which has gold ingredients. There are skincare which has gold ingredients, and I've recently come across having coffee with gold ingredients. So
Seriously?
yeah, I mean, there is no end. I mean,
Yeah.
right from wearing gold as a jewelry to applying it as a skincare to applying it as makeup and now drinking it as a coffee. So you need, so every brand is coming up with a story first.
Yeah.
The story is as per what is happening in the world, or what is happening in a particular area, or what is happening in a particular cause. And then across that story, there are products being made and clients being educated that how good it is for them. And if this research stops, then there will really be very limited options available for people to innovate. So one person innovating, thousands and lakhs of others getting inspired, and then creating it, a portfolio of products and offering, and the consumer utilizing it and making it as a part of their life. I mean, but this has to be constant. It cannot stop. I mean, launching something today, we are already thinking that what is our new launch of the next quarter, you know so that's how all brands work. I mean, there's an entire story that needs to be pre-planned for the coming months and seasons. So a lot of time, India being India, the number of festivals, the number of cultures that all we have, a lot of things are also designed as per that. So sometimes it's a bridal, sometimes it's Diwali, sometimes it's Holi. So each particular festival also now is being picked up, and what happens with that festival for beauty is also highlighted. So
Okay.
people during the time of Holi are highlighting that use anti-frizz hair treatments, because when you put color on your hair, it will get
Yeah.
frizzy.
Yeah.
When there is Diwali coming, then people are using anti-pollution products for obvious reasons. So everything is being picked up and made a story around, and then there are offerings where there are zillions of brands available selling their own story. It's just that identifying what story hits you best and what products work you. In fact, all products with these current technology, a lot of brands have great products. I would say all of them are really, really looking into the highest quality standards, getting under their brand, because the chances of error is very minor. One thing going wrong, there is a tweet, there is an Instagram post, you're gone.
Yeah.
You know,
Correct.
so the space of a minute breathing error also is very minimal. You know, you can't get away with something which is not right there with the highest quality, results, pricing, packaging, everything.
So like
It'll be, yeah.
yeah. So like social media plays a very vital role in when it comes to beauty industry, right? So what are the major platforms of social media, plays a very vital role in making and development of new products?
Number one, social media is playing vital role in across all industry,
Yeah.
including your industry. So yeah, so there's no industry right now which is not touched by social media or is influenced that industry to grow. So social media is a great influencing reach out program for all the industries of the world. And while you consider beauty, now any industry in the world posting anything about their businesses will show good looking men or women somehow,
Yeah.
somewhere. So that is the byline of beauty industry always being present across the horizon. you know Whichever industry it may be, if even if it's a social media program promotion about a car, but there is a model or a film star coming out of that, he's actually groomed, he's made to look well. So beauty is a byline phase for everything, and due to which the entire beauty industry is booming, because there is so much of demand and requirement, and it's on its journey upwards and onwards completely.
So, like as we are talking about the beauty industry and about the social media, so I want to know, like leveraging social media stars and influencer and promoting, beauty products, styling tools. So, does it upgrade the sales, or it is just to people are doing that marketing, or the brands are doing that only, or it actually helps the brands to upgrade their sales?
See, influencer marketing is currently the biggest rage in the country, I would say, or globally.
Yeah.
What does an influencer do? An influencer is basically creating ideas and thoughts for their fans on their page on what can be achieved and how a particular look can be created. But what's in between the lines, very importantly for the brand, like for us, when the influencer is actually using the tool, we actually first train the influencer what is the right way of using the particular tool, and then what all can be achieved with what ease. How it helps the brand is because this is what the influencer is educating.
Yeah.
So I would say the influencer is not just influencing to buy a product. The influencer is helping the brand transfer education.
Correct.
They are using it right. They are talking about the right USPs. They are talking about the do's and the don'ts, and finally they are creating a look which gives their fans a confidence of repeating that same thing back home.
Yeah.
So for me, I think an influencer activity should definitely and will always continue because it's very closely related to education, and a lot of people get inspired by the looks and by the entire thought process of using a particular product or a style. And I think it's all over everywhere. That's why influencers marketing, it helps, it definitely helps the brands to grow.
Okay, so I want to know, like, setting up an beauty brand, especially the Iconic, which is, very, very well known in the brand, and there are other brands as well. So why, like, what Iconic is different from other brands? Like, what are the features is making Iconic is different from other brands?
I think with Iconic, we are one thing that we are very, very sure about is we work very closely with hairdressers.
Yeah.
If you ask us about our research and development team, they are only hairdressers. We identify what is the problem, what the hairdresser is feeling. We come out with products which would solve that problem either faster or either with more finesse. It can be a weight of the product which is giving a hand pain to a hairdresser. It can be a shape of a hairstyling appliance which can give a problem to a hairdresser towards the shoulder using longer. It can be a lot of things. So, as Iconic, we are constantly in touch with the global innovations in terms of hair technology for appliances. And we very closely work on getting products which would minimize any kind of an accidental or damage to the hair. So one thing for sure with Iconic products is you are not getting anything which can put you into a situation of an accident. We are very careful about our quality, our engines that are used in our appliances, our plugs, our wires. Everything has been minorly monitored. We are certified globally to be one of the safest brands in terms of electrical appliances usage. So it's constant that we understand the trends. We make sure that we create products which our fan clubs are always looking up for. But we don't go lower beyond a point to for the heck of sales.
Yeah.
Iconic as a positioning in the market is completely different. We are actually in a space where there is really no one. There are people who have brands who are doing huge numbers being at a lower line, and there are brands which are very, very premium brands in the influential mode. But Iconic is just there. We create great products and we command a price for it, and we support education to salons. We do seminars, we do look and learns, we do a lot of fashion weeks, we do backstage, we do a lot of these things, which only shows that the product has a lot of strength in itself to sustain this kind of pressures.
Okay, so since I agree that Iconic is a very, very well known brand when it comes to education, because I personally use Iconic, and I want
Okay.
to know. So I want to know, there's a lot of myth when it comes to styling your hair. Like people say it will damage your hair when while you are straightening your hair or you are curling your hair. So what's your view on this?
See, the entire beauty industry consists about a line where a human is not satisfied with the creation of God.
Yeah,
It's very simple. People who have curly hair buy straighteners, make it straight. People who have straight hair buy curlers and make it curly.
yeah,
So it's not only about the hair tools or appliances. It's about you trying to change anything which is not natural is going to have its own side effects.
correct,
I don't deny it completely, but it's not the damage which can cause you a serious injury. It is something which can be repaired, which is taken care of. And now with newer technology of products that we are getting, like the new hair dryers that we have launched, is especially having motors which do not give heat supply beyond a particular temperature level, which can cause damage to the hair cuticles or to your scalp. We've added ionic features where it converts the air where the dryer is being used into an oxygen flow for boosting moisture to your hair. So, as technology is changing, as everybody's talking about sustainability, everybody's talking about a greener world, and, each brand needs to take its own steps towards it. We at Iconic are making sure that, we are using the best of the tech products. Our products should be recyclable. Our plates of the iron are also titanium coated, which basically cannot burn your hair. We have programmed our gadgets with an auto shut off system if it's untouched, so it doesn't consume a lot of electricity. So, as a brand, we've been responsible enough to make sure that there is minimum or no damage to the hair.
yeah. So, like going towards the end of the podcast, I want to know how beauty industry is, coming with the lot of changes, and what is
Yeah.
the major change soon or in the future beauty industry is going to come with.
See, with the current discussions happening on the global platforms and the shows and all that I keep visiting, there is a lot of topic going on where people are finding substitute ingredients and products which are less harmful to consumers and to the Mother Earth.
Yeah,
It consists about sustainability. It's about each brand's contribution towards environment. Um, it's about as good as saving water, everything. So while the customers are so much aware and now making efforts to make global warming under its minimum effect, the brands itself are working towards supporting and going hand in glove. As an industry, I would say it's going to grow and it's going to continue to grow because there is a lot of demand and there is a lot of space still, which will constantly be filled up with newer products and the newer technologies. But what's very more important to understand here is the requirements of beauty is much more than we ever thought would exist
correct,
in terms of each let's assume if it's for face, then you have a special lip scrub, you have a face scrub, you have an eye scrub, you have a temples and forehead scrub, and you have a body scrub. So, the cut down and the precision for each particular body part with its sensitivity and with its functionality is become so much. The research and study is so much that there are brands which earlier would have about 50 SKUs as a brand portfolio. Today sits on 300 SKUs as a brand portfolio. And not that these products are not required. No, they've really done research and it's been made for a particular solution.
yeah,
So while everybody is looking towards getting more beautiful and more better than what they are, there are specific products, treatments which are now coming out, which only shows that there is an acceptance from the buyer, and this gives a great motivation for brands like us to create more solutions.
So thank you so much, Riyad, for coming on our show. And we got a lot of information about the beauty industry. So thank you so much.
Thank you for having me. Thanks a lot.